Hello everyone, my name is Junjie. I'm going to share a research proposal with you today. The theme is fathers driving consumers to return to full in-store shopping post double alarm to my positive pay habits, employing the channel environments. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to show my thinking. I hope you find this topic highly relevant in today's marketing context. First, I would like to briefly introduce my background. Everyone knows about epidemics. The COVID-19 pandemic changed our consumption habits basically overnight. Online shopping has become the safest and most convenient option. But here's the interesting thing. After the epidemic opened, more and more people are returning to brick-and-mortar stores, according to data from McKinsey and Company. In the second quarter of 2022, customer traffic to retail physical stores in Southeast Asia increased by 42% compared to the same period last year. Some people want to ask about this phenomenon. Why, after getting used to online shopping, will someone return to the brick-and-mortar store for consumption? The purpose of my research is to identify the key drivers behind. The focus is on the Gen Z population. So what problem am I trying to solve? In fact, most of the research in the past few years has focused on why the epidemic has turned to online consumption. But very few people discuss why it is back offline. For example, Pantana and Wulu and Allison mainly give speeches on online consumption habits. It doesn't explain why it flows back to the entity. Rowland and Sedman's research shows that passenger flow up 15% after mall reopens. Dear, we also found that physical sales in Southeast Asia increased by 18% year-on-year in 2022. If retailers don't take this change seriously, it is likely to miss the opportunity to connect with new customers. What is the significance of this research? Who are the beneficiaries? Academic views on this research will be planned. Theoretical TPD applied to the post-epidemic era. Willingness to return, scenario scaling, theoretical boundary impending modulation. Industry retailers can use this discovery to optimize the store experience just right to attract consumers. Political maker. The results can support the political customization of implementing a zero-score recovery, provide a good reference. In order to further study the switching basis of online and offline channels, follow-up scholars. Therefore, this research is of great significance to scholars. My literature on the three major variables of the planned theory of numbers. The first major variable is attitude. Ponder believes that the convenience of online shopping has improved during the epidemic, but while he and Peter found that offline exhibitions will make people prefer to go to brick-and-mortar stores for consumption. Young further pointed out that the channel experience will be satisfactory once. Therefore, it affects attitude, subjective norm. Huon can emphasize that social influence and peer pressure drive consumer decisions. Jojicard and others found that peers have a significant impact on channel sales. Perceptual behavior control. Harlow and Atkinson suggest that people only act when they feel in control. It was also found that after the epidemic, as long as the store is safe and controllable, I would rather go back offline. Here is a quick summary of several important studies. Fontana Key Test. It studies online shopping, but there is no table. It involves going back offline. Low Lyman and Seidman. Look at growth. No psychological motivation. Partners and Atkinson use TPP for online shopping, not used in return brick-and-mortar stores. He added TBD to the epidemic, but there is a deep void in the omnichannel context. Let it confirm this channel satisfaction, but there is no analysis of the entire process of intent and process. My research is trying to connect these gaps with an omni-channel perspective combined with the research gaps just mentioned. My research focuses on the following questions. The first question is, how does attitude affect the willingness to return to brick-and-mortar stores? The second one, how do subjective norms affect the willingness to return? Third, what is the effect of perceived behavioral control on the willingness to return? It's not just about relationships, more emphasis on impact. In order to answer the above question, I had three main research goals. The first one, explore how physical shopping attitudes affect return intentions. The second is to analyze how subjective norms shape this willingness. The third is to clarify the role of perceived behavioral control on regression intention. This is my research framework. This research theory is based on the planning theory proposed by Edwards. He believes that attitudes reflect an individual's positive or negative evaluation of something. Subjective norms refer to expectations rather than expectations of social behavior. Perceptual behavior control is the ability of personal feelings to achieve. This theory fits my theme very well because he acted intentionally to explain it. And here we've done a test measure graph here. TBB is extensive. It is also a consumption intention map. It is also suitable for online and offline consumption scenarios. Based on the theoretical framework, I put forward three scenarios. So the first idea for entities, the more positive your attitude towards physical shopping, the stronger the desire to return. The second idea, the stronger the subjective norms, the stronger the willingness to return. Third, the higher the perceptual control, the stronger the return. This is my theoretical framework diagram. This is what you can see. Attitude principle, subjective rule. Subjective norms of perceived behavioral control can directly affect the intention of brick-and-mortar stores. This combination is clear to both academics and industry players. Here is a brief introduction to my introduction. My research methods. Research hypothesis, quantitative correlation is research. Subjects, Generation Z in Malaysia with online and offline shopping experience. Generation Z population. Research, sampling methods, non-probabilistic convenience sampling. The sample was 377 people. Data collection tools sent through social media questionnaire. The weekly rhythm scenario uses 5 points. Here is my schedule. The first chapter quotes Chapter 2, Literature, Chapter 3, Methodology, and then there's Data Collection, Chapter 4, Analysis, Chapter 5, the time is clear. Make sure the research is clear. It's all connected. So here's my last one. These are my lifelines. Thank you.